Hi, today we are unboxing this little box from Eart. Eart? Ear T? Whatever. Rumor says there is a guitar with the model name GW2 SE inside. I assume SE stands for second edition, which is a bit odd because the model itself is called GW2. Also, there actually exists a GW1 model, but almost nobody saw it. And if I remember correctly, the differences between GW1 and GW2 are actually less than between GW2 and GW2 SE. But more on that later. Returning to the box, I'm not even sure that our Chinese friends didn't pull a fast one on me and didn't just send some fresh air from Wuhan instead of the guitar, because this box weighs practically nothing. But we'll open it anyway and look what's inside, and if the guitar is indeed there, then we'll look at the guitar and I'll also tell you why did I order it. Good news, the guitar is there, and the first thing that stands out, aside from the color, is how incredibly light it is. I actually got it as a potential replacement for my old GW2 model, which I have right here, and which I have some issues with. I will discuss the issues in a separate video where I will compare these two models, but one of the issues was the weight, which is not that far off from the full-size Ibanez, which is right behind me, which kinda beats the purpose of having a headless guitar. In the new model, they've addressed this issue. Or some might argue they ruined the guitar by putting less tone wood in there. Maybe. We'll talk about the sound later. The full name of this particular model is GW2 TP SE, where I assume T stands for Tele, because it's a Telecaster-like configuration, and P stands for pickguard, as there's also a Telecaster-like model without the pickguard. Also, they have, as they had with the previous generation, a dual humbucker model, and a model with an HSS configuration. Also, they've brought back the models with a tremolo bridge, which also have a T in the model name. But in that case, T is not for Telecaster, it's for tremolo. Chinese naming at its finest. Let's talk specs. According to the manufacturer, the body is made from roasted mahogany, which I find hard to believe because of how light it is. But maybe I don't know something and mahogany is actually a really lightweight wood, but then why are Les Paul so heavy? Doesn't matter. The neck is made from Canadian maple, also roasted. The fretboard is not roasted rosewood. 24 stainless steel frets with rounded fret edges, bone nut, I assume, 42 millimeters wide. The guitar also has spoke wheel truss rod adjustments, which I find the best place for adjusting the truss rod. 2 pickups, tele style, 3-way switch, volume, tone. The neck is compound shape from U to C and is pretty thin. This time they went with their own design of the bridge, at least it's Eart branded. Side note, this font on the bridge is just some random font and it doesn't match the font on the box or on the back of the neck at all, but what do I know? And spoiler, the bridge was actually my main complaint about the old model and probably the main reason why I wanted to try the new one. So let's see how it shows itself. The strings are 10 gauge and there's also one more pack of 10 gauge strings in the box with the guitar, which is a nice gesture. I've played with the guitar a little bit and here's some upsides which I find so far. I really like the neck. It's pretty thin and satin finish, so the hand glides smoothly. The string action is set up from the factory pretty low, which causes some buzzing when the guitar is unplugged, but it doesn't come through the amp, so it's fine. The frets are polished and glide pretty smoothly. The electronics are okay, so there's no crackling on the knobs. The switch is pretty solid and I like the bridge. The tuners are easy to turn and they have nice feel to them. I also really like that the settings for the intonation and action are just like on a regular guitar without some weird stuff which some headless guitars have. And the intonation was set up from the factory almost perfectly. It was really slightly off. Some downsides which I've discovered so far. Sometimes on the neck you feel tiny particles. It's like some dust which they've just oiled over. It's nothing critical, but you can feel it in some places. The paint job is uneven. Some places where there's too little paint, some places where it's too much, so it's like all over the place. The neck pocket looks like they took inspiration from Gibson because of how bad it looks. And some minor stuff like the hole for the truss rod adjustment is rounded, but the cutaway in the pickguard for that is square, or like there's some rough cut under the tuners which just was painted over. But overall, considering the price, not bad. Not bad at all. that's it for now. In the next video we're going to compare these two models, see what's improved, what's downgraded, compare the sound, all that stuff. Maybe I'll throw in some other model in there for reference, so subscribe to not miss that video. And also just subscribe. Sometimes there are interesting videos on this channel. What do you have to lose? See you in the next one.